Hi everybody, thank you for coming back to another Lunch Bunch. Today we are going to continue reading about Frankenstein in Monstrous. So let's get started. The first section is Science versus Monsters. Could Dr. Frankenstein's machine ever work? No, it couldn't. But here is a super spooky image. It's alive! Let's start reading. In the 1931 movie, the monster lies on a raised operating table as flashes of lightning crash from above and electricity is directed through his body. The camera zooms in on the monster's quivering fingers as he lifts his arm up, and the excited doctor cries, "It's alive! It's alive!" It's a dramatic scene. But could electricity ever truly create life? To answer that question, let's look at the science behind the Mad Doctor's machine. To bring his creation to life, Dr. Frankenstein's first task is to direct an electric current into the monster. To create an electric current, scientists often use metals like aluminum and copper because they easily lose or gain electrons. These materials are called conductors because they conduct electricity. Materials like wood or rubber hold on to their electrons. These materials are called insulators because they do not conduct electricity. To conduct an electric current through the body, the doctor uses metal electrodes attached to the monster's neck. This is probably not the best place to start. Your skin is a horrible conductor, so in order to bypass it, you're going to need about 600 volts, or enough to blow a hole in the skin. Those electrodes are also dangerously close to the brainstem. Your brainstem controls basic functions like breathing. Once your brainstem is fried by all that current, it can't tell your body to breathe. Breathing is kind of important to bring someone back to life. Better rethink that one, Doc. You can see there's this picture of our little Frankenstein. He's like, I can't breathe. So the monster's brain is toast. But what about his heart? Today we use a machine called a defibrillator that uses an electric current to shock a person's heart into working normally again after cardiac arrest. During cardiac arrest, a heart beats with an erratic, rapid rhythm that arrests or stops the heart's ability to pump blood. A defibrillator does not restart a heart in the same way that a dead car battery might be recharged. Instead, it works by disrupting the unnatural rhythm with an electrical shock so that the heart can return to a normal, steady beat. Now, you might have seen the following scene in a medical TV drama. A sick patient is hooked up to an electrocardiogram, or EKG, that bleeps steadily, measuring the electrical activity of the heart. Then, all of a sudden, the electrical spikes flatten to a straight line, accompanied by one long bleep. I've seen that before. The patient is flatlined. The doctors start running around frantically, grabbing paddles and screaming, "Code something or other." Yeah, that never happens in real life. Unfortunately, if an EKG indicates a flat line, no amount of electricity is going to get that heart beating again. A flat line means that there is zero electric current, and a defibrillator must have an electric current to work with. There are other drugs that can stimulate a heart to beat again, but if you were to repeatedly send more electricity through a dead heart, you would only get a crispy dead heart with a horrible burnt flesh smell. Gross. What is somewhat accurate in Frankenstein's monster comes to life scene is all that twitching. Whenever an electric current is passed through a body, the muscles contract. Remember Galvani's experiments on very dead frogs? Electricity makes muscles spasm because our nervous system carries an electric charge, and those nerves and muscle cells continue to conduct electricity, whether there is life or not. In Frankenstein's case, the monster's body could be made to jerk, just like Galvani's creepy, twitching frog legs. However, there's more to life than a few muscle twitches. So now we're going to go into the monstrous history of electricity. So first, 2750 BCE, long time ago, a fishy cure. The ancient Greeks used electric rays to numb headaches after observing the jolts coming out of them. Would you put an electric eel on your head if you were having a headache? 600 BCE, fraidy cats. Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus observes that amber rubbed on a cat's fur can attract small objects. This is an example of static electricity. 1752, Franklin doesn't electrocute himself. Benjamin Franklin hypothesizes that lightning and electricity are similar. To prove his hypothesis, he flies a kite in a thunderstorm with a metal key attached to it. The metal key draws electricity from the lightning and sparks jump from the key to his knuckle. Scientists today have tried to replicate Franklin's experiment only to discover that it's a good way to electrocute yourself. For this reason, many historians doubt the details of the experiment. Franklin also used electricity to electrocute turkeys for amused dinner guests. That's not nice. 1800, a jolt of knowledge. Questioning Galvani's experiments, scientist Alessandro Volta uses stacks of 2 different metal discs with brine-soaked paper in between them. He then connects his apparatus to 2 probes, which he inserts into his ears. He manages not to electrocute himself and realizes the electric current is not coming from any animal electricity inside his head. Instead, the 2 differently charged metals with a conductor in between is what really creates an electric current. Volta's discovery of electric current leads to the voltaic pile, or first battery. This guy doesn't look too smart. 1800s, first electrical machines. The first electrical machines use a hand crank to rub a glass wheel against 2 leather, hair-filled pads coated with a conductor material, usually gold. As the wheel spins, the friction of the glass against the pads creates a positive charge, which is collected into brass cylinders. People lined up to experience a jolt from these new electrical machines. Many reported nosebleeds and headaches afterwards. Think twice before trying some new technology. 1880s. Thomas Edison, genius, inventor, animal killer. Westinghouse Electric acquires inventor Nikola Tesla's patents for alternating current, or AC current that reverses direction. This launches a feud with the competing Addison company, which supplies direct current, or DC current that runs in a single direction. In what became known as the War of the Currents, Thomas Edison tries to discredit his rival and show AC current is too dangerous for homes by staging public executions, frying dogs, cats, and horses. Despite the scare tactics, AC current becomes the preferred method to power homes. 1890, Little Monsters. Thomas Edison uses his experiments with the first recorded sound on a line of talking dolls he calls his Little Monsters. The dolls mostly creep people out and were a complete flop. I would give anything to have a little monster. That sounds so cool. 1899, Sick as a Dog. Physiologists Frederic Batelli and Jean-Louis Prévost experiment with defibrillation on dogs. A defibrillator restores natural rhythms by delivering an electrical shock to the heart. Batelli and Prévost, something like that, discovered they could save the dogs with the correct amount of current and kill them with the wrong amount. The first motion pictures exhibited in the United States were by Edison's production company, Addison Studios. One of the first films made was Frankenstein in 1910. All right, folks, that's it for today, but come back when we explore glow-in-the-dark pigs. See you next time. Bye.